G'day, Ben from Melbourne here, and quite a belated Happy New Year to you all. It's been a minute or two since we last spoke. Been off on holidays, and also, my New Year's resolution to catch COVID came true early in the year. That was fucking awesome too. As you can tell, still got that sexy husky voice going on. So that was no fun, and because of that, I'm sorry I have not kept up on any of your videos out there, and haven't replied to all of the comments that have been coming in to me. Just been feeling too crook, and looking at a screen just made me feel more shit house. So I'll endeavour to reply to all of you, and I'll see how I go with videos, because you just miss a week in the VC, and the backlog of stuff to watch is phenomenal. Anyway, I've rhubarbed on long enough. Of course, you're come to watch me talk about my 10 best new vinyl releases of last year in 2024. These are kind of in order. It's not strict. This is how I was feeling when I pulled them out today. And there's been some crackers. 2024 was a good year, so let's stop talking shit and get into it. First up, the Celebrities with their album Red Carpet. This one's on Total Punk, as you can see there. Great label. This is actually a half Australian, half Portland collaboration between Cal Mason of GT and Joe Sussman of Dangus Tarkus. Also a few little guest appearances from Ishka Amids. I think I'm saying his name's right. Anyway, that's a dude who is better known as TV Repairman. All of these, and Satanic Togas, of course. All these dudes are known for being in the egg punk scene. Egg punk, I hear you say. This might give you some indication. It's also known as Devocore, but this is a bit of a cut above the average egg punk record. Like, really cool stuff. Of course, it's got the signature stuff of fuzzy guitars, vocals that sound like it's stuck on 45, in a good way, not in a chipmunk way. Punk synth sound, quick tempos are all there. But these songs, they just sound a bit more thought through and well put together, where most egg punk stuff is just a blast and a rush of adrenaline, I suppose. Don't worry, even though there's a bit more songcraft in here, this isn't like your dad's James Taylor record by any means. This is still good synth punk, egg punk shit. Anyway, I'll give you a quick look. Back cover there. Just the plain label there, Total Punk. Good record label. And we're all invited to the Red Carpet Academy Awards, for the Celebrities. Anyway, great record. Check it out. Okay, next up we've got the Quivers from Hobart, down in Tasmania. If you like the idea of the go-betweens crossed with the church, but with shared male and female lead vocals, you're gonna love this band. It's got that jangly and shimmering sound that both of those bands were famous for. Like, it's the classic 80s indie sound, through a prism of what's happening now, I suppose, with indie, more in the pop end based music, like hooks galore, really beautiful dual vocal moments throughout. Great, well-crafted songs. This is a really, really solid indie pop record. Good to see also it's on Merge Records there, so available everywhere. Great to see a good young Australian band getting a worldwide release and a bit more exposure. We'll have a little looky on the inside. So just some wordage there. There's a photo of them in action in the studio. I think it's just black vinyl in this case. Yep. Nice blue and white labels there. So yeah, if you like your jangly, big star, Birdsey influenced bands like Teenage Fan Club and also people like Go-Betweens and Church, like I mentioned, check out the Quivers. You made your own fireworks till you run out of town. Where are you now? Just to be in love, just to be more loved. All right, now we've got Melbourne's Zom Beaches with their album A Taste of Oxygen. Urgent post-punk stuff with that skittering, guitar sound, pulsating kind of krautrock rhythms throughout, sort of pleading, desperate vocals in here, which kind of remind me of a cross between Howard Devoto and maybe Pill era of John Lydon as well. Even in some cases, it might sound weird after using those two as examples of vocals, there's backing vocals throughout which almost touch upon some real melody in there, which is kind of unusual for this kind of music, which is usually stark, but really cool, like real urgency in the sound. There's also, amongst those backing vocals, some really cool female backing vocals, subtle synths throughout, which elevate it. Kind of above a lot of post-punk stuff that's going around these days, which is, that sort of normal guitar, drum, vocal, herky-jerky feel. These guys bring some real great ideas and real songcraft to the mix of, what's usually a stock standard sound when you think of post-punk stuff. Did I say the name of this album? It's called A Taste of Oxygen, and it is on, I think it's Buttery Records. It says But 066. It's that little tiny logo there. If they want you to buy their shit, why don't they print it bigger, man? The labels, I tell you. There's a great shot of the band in the middle. Now this has nice coloured vinyl. Check that shit out. Does it look as good on camera? That's kind of like a half gold, half translucent yellow. I don't know if it picks it up as good on the camera, but get the vibe. Really nice. Zom Beaches for all your modern post-punk needs. Righto, Rick and the Sickos with their self-titled record. These dudes from Brisbane did a Shed Burner feature on this band. I said it then and I'll say it again. I fucking hate the Chats, and there's a few band members from the Chats in this, and this is nothing like the Chats. This is awesome shit. It's like a lost relic of that 90s budget rock garage punk sound. A lot of short, sharp punk rockers. Big issues on their mind, of course, with a name like Rick and the Sickos. Like being a sicko, being ugly, premature ejaculation, shitting the bed, being sick in the head, rocking to death, of course, and being out of your head. Classic rock and roll subject matter there. It's great fun, doesn't overstay its welcome, and there's definitely a skill to getting this sort of shit right. It's that perfect balance between smart and stupid, and they have got both in spades. Just looking at the artwork gives you a good idea of the highbrow shit this is. So here's wordage, band photos, all fun and hijinks there. And let's have a look at the record. Just regular black. That's cool, because the spindle comes out of his gob when you play it. And yeah, did I say who it's on? Bargain Bin Records, there you go. Rick and the Sickos. They've done it again. Split System, my Melbourne boys, with their album Volume 2. Naming it Volume 2 is probably the only bad thing about this record. They probably could have thought about that a little bit more. But anyway, big deal. It's a great record. Still got that razor sharp Saints guitar sound, but maybe a bit more garagey this time around. Jackson Briggs, lead vocalist, has one of those perfect punk voices that just spits it out. It's almost like, again, Saints, Chris Bailey, gruff soul punk, if that's a thing. And I say the soul part because they can both carry a melody. It's not just barked out stuff. It's just that classic, great punk vocal style where it's really hooky and catchy. Great hooks throughout, like catchy songs, good guitar sound. It's not like they've just broken the mold from the previous record. It's just more, but just more finely tuned, I suppose, is what I'm looking for. I just think they're one of the great modern punk bands coming out of Australia, along with Civic, which, both these bands have a foot in the past, obviously, and not in that direction, tip of the hat, I suppose, but they've definitely got their own sound and they're of the now. This is a ripper on the great Legless record. You can pretty much guarantee anything you see on the Legless record label, you should pick that up. Unfortunately not a gatefold of the Crowd Surfer here. That would be cool, but in true punk aesthetics, we do things budget style. Some wordage there. There's a band on the back, and I like the labels on this because it's got the more Crowd Surfing. It's kind of like a wine red, looks a bit more brown on the screen there, marbly effect. Not a bad looking vinyl, but we don't give a shit about the colour and the look as long as the record fucking kicks.
Think about the world way too much, but think about my world without you. Don't wanna say goodbye, don't wanna find another way, don't wanna start it over, don't wanna be alone again, don't wanna say goodbye, don't wanna find another way, don't wanna start it over, don't wanna be alone again.
Crime in Australia. Is there any, you ask, all you northerners? Well, the answer would be yes. But this ain't no crime. Oh, that was a bad joke. Party Dozen. I think it's their 4th or 5th record. Of course, the album's called Crime in Australia. Sydney band consisting of sax, drums, triggers, and a shitload of effects pedals. Just a 2-piece, as you can see on the cover there. Amazing stuff. Like, this rocks. It sometimes gets funky in that punk funk way. Can be weirdly avant-garde and even catchy in some moments. But yeah, it's just a hell of a lot of fun. Some great... when I say avant-garde, you're gonna think it's like, whoa, but it's not. It's really hooky, and it just uses sax in a really original way. It's not like honkin' rock and roll sax at all. It's mainly instrumental, but what vocals there are actually sung through the bell of the sax, which you have to see to believe. It's really effective. Yeah, put all your sax preconceptions aside, because this sax ain't no regular sax, baby. It barely sounds like a sax most of the time. Yeah, Kirsty wields her sax like a punk rock guitar, man. Yeah, brilliant original sounds. Great band, great live band too. This is on Grupo Records, as you can see there. I don't know. I'm got my foot in either camp of whether I dig that album cover or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. What have I got inside? Great live shot. There they are there. Some wordage on the back. Not lyrical wordage, just informational wordage. And, oh, we got some coloured vinyl. Lovely blue. Groovy labels. So for all your non-honkin' Bruce Springsteen, blow it up your ass sax, you want some punkin' sax with some funkin' punk, there's a sentence for you. Check out Party Dozen's Crime in Australia. From Wollongong, and I'm not talking about the wonders of Wollongong tumbleweed, talking about Chimers with, I think this is their 2nd record, called Through Today. This baby kicks from the second the needle drops, man. It's a guitar, drums, 2-piece setup, which you're like, oh, so much of that. It's been done. But who gives a fuck if it sounds good? Maybe because the vox are low in the mix, it's kind of got that perfect balance of jangle and distorted guitar. Drums like fucking slamming. It reminds me of a lot of the high energy indie rock from the 90s. You know, like when indie really rocked. You know, like rocked. It wasn't like this limp cardigan wearing, in touch with your feelings, man bun shit that they try to sell as indie these days. This is like 90s indie where it's fucking loud, guitars are distorted, can't understand shit of what he's saying, but it kind of has hooks in there. Just really great stuff. I haven't managed to get to see these dudes live, but I reckon they would be really good if this and their previous album are any indication. Yeah, if this doesn't get your blood pumping, baby, see a doctor, because you ain't got no blood. All right, some more informational stuff aside from my bullshit. This is on Poison City Records, local label, puts out a lot of good punk stuff. It's not a bad package, I think. There they are in action. Nice. Back cover there gives you a bit of songage. Strangely, you get about 2 lines from each song. Don't know what that's about. Either put them on or don't, I say. And Lovely red vinyl. Who doesn't like that? Yeah. Chimers, baby. Now for something special. Who would have thought after such a long time between drinks we would get a brand new record from the Dirty Three? Oh yeah, you'll know these dudes even if you don't know the name of this band. Talking especially to you northerners. Of course, this is Warren Ellis, who is better known as Nick Cave's foil these days. Jim White, drummer, who is on everything. He's been on Cat Power Records, Bill Callahan Records, more recently the great Hard Quartet record. And of course Mick Turner, legendary guitarist, played in Venom P. Stinger, does great solo instrumental stuff now, and an artist who paints all of the Dirty Three covers. How do you describe Melbourne's own Dirty Three? Well, you describe it by telling you all the name of the record first. It's called Love Changes Everything. See how I got around that? Nearly talked myself into a corner there. Well, actually, how it sounds to me, it starts off like, whoa, this is going to be full on. There's like just a clattering bang of drums, distorted guitar sounds out in front. And you just kind of like, this is going to be intense. But as it goes on, it becomes more ethereal. Violin becomes a bit more in focus. It was surprising in the first track to hear it so back, because normally it's out front big time. And yeah, Warren puts his violin through a number of effects as well. Like you'll get clean sounds plus distorted sounds and a whole bunch of other layers in between. It's really, really interesting record. Feels like they're reaching or searching for new territory, even at this point within the Dirty Three, which is really cool to hear. There's, pianos and synths, which isn't unfamiliar, I suppose, with previous records, but I don't know, it just feels like they're going for something different. And I do have, know a little birdie on the inside. When they recorded this, apparently they went in and played a piece which was mind-blowing apparently, and then they went back and listened to it and went, nah, we've been down that road before, and just trashed it and went in and come out with this, which is kind of incredible when you hear it. Like the first side sounds more like real live in the room kind of stuff. Second side has a few more layers and treatments on Warren's violin. And yeah, as much as it starts off with a clatter and a bang, there's like a melancholy towards the end, I suppose. I don't know if I put that on there myself and that's how it made me feel, because there's been a huge gap between this album and the previous one. And it could be a very long time before the next one, if we do ever get a next one, because they all got so many other projects, and I'm sure Nick Cave's gig pays pretty well. But this is a beautiful record. Dirty Three, can't recommend it enough. Another unexpected one after quite a gap, Orb with their great record Tailman Bend. Geelong band, of course. Links with Flightless and King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, of course. Zach, the lead singer, has played in a number of those great anti-fade bands like Frowning Clouds, and a whole heap that just flew out of my head as I was about to say them. But this Project Orb started off as like their obsession with Black Sabbath, I suppose, but it's expanded and got weirder ever since. And I think the big gap between has like done them really well. Although there's like, you know, those familiar song structures with lots of bits, this got a lot more cleaner sounds, where there was a lot more big, fat, distorted bass and guitar sounds on previous records. Bit more instrumentation on this one as well. They've actually got a second guitarist. They were normally a three-piece. Even delve into like a bit of Baroque psych pop on some moments. Yeah, so this might be like their, I suppose, psychedelic record, I would say. The previous one, I would say, was their King Crimson trying to play Black Sabbath songs worship album. But just a fantastic return from a great band. Had tickets to go see them at the end of the year, and they cancelled those shows due to illness in the band. I haven't heard anything about what that was or when they'll return. There's been no new date set or anything, so I hope everything's cool. This one is on Flightless again. Great shot of them there. They did play a few shows, but not the album launch shows, which I was due to go and see. Amazing vinyl, as you usually get from Flightless. There. We'll just stick this one back in. And I think, well, try not to drop the records, because everybody knows the great Split Seam fiasco of 2024. And there's nothing else in there, so you'll just have to look at that and love it.
She said to me, let's get together. But I said, no way, I don't want trouble. I don't want to go along with you. I don't know.
Righto, last one. And for all you punk fans out there, this might be a little bit unexpected. It's Ned Collette's album, Our Other History. Now, Ned is a Melbourne dude who's now been based in Berlin for a little while now. This is just a beautiful, haunting, melancholic record. It is kind of his thing, but the difference with this one, there's quite a big cast of characters playing on this, including Chris Abrahams from The Necks, Leah Senior, Flightless, alumni, the witchy, folky artist who just plays some beautiful stuff. She also does a lot of the, if you hear female spoken word stuff on King Giz records, that's Leah Senior as well, but check out her solo stuff too. Mick Turner, Jim White of the Dirty Three, of course, they're everywhere. They're becoming, well, they always have kind of been like Mikey Young, they're on everything. There's strings and horns on this too, so quite a bit of instrumentation, but surprisingly with this amount of players, it's quite uncluttered. There's a lot of space and it has a spare sound, so even though when you read the back of how many people play on it, their contributions, I suppose, are like used minimally and tastefully. Did I say minimally properly? It just felt weird when it came out. Sometimes I shouldn't focus on these things because you wouldn't notice, and now I've made you all notice and everybody will be like, fuck you Australians can't talk properly. Anyway, it's kind of hard to classify this. It's got elements of that post-rock kind of sound. It's such a stupid genre name, that, but you know, not polyrhythmic post-rock like say Tortoise or someone like that, but It's like rock that was made after rock, because that's what fucking post-rock is. Anyway, I'm just getting up on my high horse. I mean more how post-rock uses the odd jazz chord here and there. It's kind of like an avant folk sound in there as well. There's little tiny traces. I mean, as in some of the song structures can, as much as spare as they are, there's one or two which have a little bit of the influence of the complexity of a prog song. But no, there's Bill Bruford isn't on this. There's no fancy drumming. I just mean as in there's a bit going on a couple of songs, okay? Yeah, Ned's great lyricist. He's pretty sort of plain spoken in his delivery. It's quite impressionistic lyrics. If you want narrative driven stuff, I guess this isn't for you, but this is just a beautiful record which I'm sure will be overlooked by a lot of people. Check out Ned's back catalogue too. It's all good. Really great Australian singer-songwriter who should be known better. This one is released on Sophomore Lounge Records. It's quite a great package too, as far as artwork goes. I think that's a wonderful photo. I did say that it's called Our Other History, didn't I? If I didn't, you heard it again. Now, inside, we've got some wordage and a bit of an essay about this album and Ned Collett by none other than Will Oldham, the great American modern folk artist. Goes by the name of Bonnie Prince Willie these days, and just stock standard black. Beautiful record. You know, I don't know. I was going to call it a great late night record, but fucking hell. I hate shit like that. That's just like, just play it whenever you want. Ned Collett, Our Other History.
Imagine saying you could never be a tourist, then proceeding to give everyone a word. A little flashing of the future, the kind word, a kiss, a brush of fingers when you pay the bill.
Right, thanks if you sat through that clunky return. Hope you like the tunes contained. They are my favourite Australian new releases of 2024. I have some more belated best-ofs coming up, reissues / box sets one, and some of the great second-hand finds I've found as well. Whew, good to be back, and I think I got like the COVID brain still. Can't think of what I'm talking about. See you in the next one.